Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Black Ops 3 In Depth. In today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the KN-44 Assault Rifle. I admit that I was a little bit harsh on this weapon when the game first came out. I said that I didn't like it. I said some mean things, and I'm hoping that the KN-44 will forgive me because after using it for this in-depth episode, I found that it's actually quite a good assault rifle, and I got a good feel for it, and I actually started liking it a little bit. Let's talk about the damage first. It has surprisingly high damage for a weapon that I considered a hit marker machine. It'll deal 40 damage up close, 30 at medium range, and then decrease down one more point down to 29 at a distance. Almost doesn't make any difference right there. That is very high damage for an assault rifle in any Call of Duty game, and it's especially high damage for Black Ops 3. It's actually very similar to the damage on the Man of War, if I'm not mistaken. It might even be exactly the same. So the KN-44 is pumping out the same kind of damage the Man of War does, yet people consider this weapon a hit marker machine and the other one a DPS machine. I made the same mistake. I don't know why. My feels were totally off on this one, but what that means is that it will kill in either 3 or 4 shots depending on the range. There's no such thing as a 5-shot kill with the KN-44 unless you're shooting through doors or, you know, some kind of obstruction like that, but it's usually going to be a 4-shot kill. The 3-shot kill range isn't the greatest. I'm glad that it's there. That's definitely a nice thing, but more often than not it's going to kill in 4 shots because the 3-shot kill range is 15 meters. 15 meters is about where shotguns kind of start disappearing, where they kind of tap out, or 15 meters is where submachine guns are kind of transitioning out of their maximum potential toward like a lesser weapon. So it's right there competing with SMGs in that range, and it's not bad. Like I said, I'm glad that I have the 15 meter 3-shot kill range. It just could be better. We do all know now at this point that if you add long barrel, that doubles the range of every assault rifle, so you can bump that out to 30 meters and make this a very, very effective assault rifle. However, at this point, I am unsure if that is a bug or not, so I'm going to be doing in-depth episodes without the long barrels attachment in particular until I know if it's a bug or until I know if it's going to be nerfed or fixed or whatever, or if it's permanent, then I'll redo a few. The headshot multiplier is 1.1x. This means that headshots are useless at all ranges. Close range headshots is all 3 shots to kill still. Long range headshots is still just 3 shots to kill, so it won't really make much difference whether you shoot in the head or the body. Okay, yeah, maybe like it's super long range, if you get some headshots, it might kill in 3 shots instead of 4 or whatever, but in long range, going for headshots really isn't worth it, so I just say aim for the body with this weapon and don't worry about it. Rate of fire, unfortunately, is not as good as the damage. It fires at 625 RPM, I said RPN, I must be drunk, is very, very slow. I mean, this is the same speed as the Razorback. This is kind of like the same speed that most LMGs fire at in previous Call of Duty games. Rate of fire is kind of pitiful on this weapon. Just wanted to point that out. Not spectacular. It hurts the time to kill a good bit. It's kind of like the AN-94, but without the first two rounds bursting. The damage profile on it's very AN-94-ish. I think it's a little bit better than the AN-94 at long ranges, but it's the same rate of fire that the AN-94 had after those first 2 rounds. Like, we know the first 2 rounds of the AN-94 like super fast and it's slow down. This is just the slowdown. We don't get any of the fast. It has average time to kill at most ranges. Despite the colossal, astoundingly awesome damage, because of the slow rate of fire, the time to kill is going to be mostly average. I mean, it's not the best at really anything, but it's also not the worst at really anything. This is kind of the bearer of averages for assault rifles, the standard. It seems like the starting weapons for pretty much all the classes in Black Ops 3 are going to be very standard, so do expect that as we move forward with in-depth. Magazine size is 30. If you put extended mags on, it's 42. I don't think that's going to be necessary. I think it's got pretty good iron sights. For, you know, in past Call of Duty games, the AK-ish weapons, and this is an AK-ish weapon, they've all had really good iron sights. This one's a little bit less so. It's not quite as nice, but they are usable. You can definitely use iron sights. You don't have to have optics, but I do feel that optics are nice. Optics make this weapon perform better than it probably should, in my opinion. It just improves the feel a lot. It's subjective, I know, but I do think it's important to mention. Recoil is moderate for an assault rifle. It has moderate recoil, definitely not low, definitely not super high either, but it has a somewhat annoying side-to-side wobble that can cause you to miss more often than you would like to. At least it messes me up. Some of you it might be more comfortable with. It really is a lot like the AK-47 or the Commando in Black Ops 1, that kind of recoil, and I struggled with both of those, and this is of course much much improved with a foregrip. Running a foregrip on it's a good idea. I would like to point out that it has higher than average idle sway. The idle sway on the KN-44 is a little bit more than the other assault rifles. Idle sway is when you're aiming down sights sitting still, your iron sights will bob a little bit back and forth. It has a little bit more than the other ARs, so that can be also a little bit annoying as well. Hipfire spread is average for the game, and it's the same as other assault rifles. Definitely not as good as some machine guns, but it's doable if you're close. You can spray people, not too bad. Aim down sights time, 250 milliseconds. This is perfectly average for the assault rifle class, and it's going to be a little bit slower than some machine guns and a little bit faster than light machine guns. Nothing special about it. Quick draw grip is optional if you want it. I tend to like it though. Reload time is 2.03 seconds, which is average for the assault rifle class, but pretty fast in general. Like ARs and Black Ops 3 all reload pretty fast, so that's good to know. You won't have to worry about fumbling with your magazine for too long. Wall penetration factor is medium, same as I think almost all the assault rifles, except I think the Shiva has a slightly higher one, but this is easier to wallbang with because of the high base damage. Because we're pumping out high base damage at all ranges, and we have a decent wall penetration factor, the amount of damage on the other side of the wall is going to be pretty high, so it is an easy weapon to wallbang with. And as for how I feel about this weapon, it is a very average feeling assault rifle despite the high damage. Like, despite dealing really consistently high damage, it feels very average. It doesn't feel like it has that oomph like you think it would. It doesn't just massacre people like usually high damage weapons do, and it feels a little bit hit markery. I think it's not necessarily that it's getting so many hit markers as that side-to-side wobble causes me to miss a few shots in between, which can be kind of annoying, and that's why I do like running optics on it. This is not the best at anything, but it's good at many things, and I will say it is surprisingly good at many things. I initially, like I said before, kind of poo-pooed on this weapon and said it was bad. It's definitely not bad. The take-home at the end of the day is that the KN-44 is a very reliable and good assault rifle and is by no means bad, though it is outclassed by other assault rifles that have specialties. This weapon just does not have a specialty which it can, you know, arrange or whatever it is that it can be good at. I'm going to have two recommended classes for you today. They're both, they're kind of foils of each other, opposite foil. I'm talking about English class stuff here. Class number one is a very standard assault rifle class. We have quick draw grip, foregrip, and optics. Quick draw grip so I can aim down sights quickly, optics so I stay on target more easily, and foregrip of course reduces the recoil. This is very standard for assault rifles. If you want to run a little more aggressively, I find that running quick draw grip, suppressor, and stock, just like an old AK, like from a previous COD game, this is like a standard class that a bajillion people have used on AKs in COD games since the beginning of time, and it works pretty well on the KN-44 as well. It doesn't really have any issues. It does hurt the 3-shot range a good bit, but it does consistently kill in 4 shots, so it has, I like that nice consistent feeling with the suppressor, and that, I believe, is one of the strengths of the weapon. Guys, that is all for this in-depth episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. The previous episode was on the Scythe versus Rolling Thunder, which is hilarious. You should definitely check it out. And the next episode I have to keep secret for now. Drifter out.